Welcome back to the Council of Erdan. Today, it's another musing about reality. It's a tougher topic to cover since we will plunge very deep into the realities and truths of this world which we live in right now, or on Earth at least, since the Council's farther reaching than just Earth. So, to start off this musing, they pose a question. How many senses does a human possess? You're taught in school, part of indoctrination and the common agenda, that you have 5 senses. Would you be surprised, though, if I told you have 12? Maybe 13. I believe you might have 13 easily. But on these 12 senses were proposed by the Waldorf creator. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He created these 12 senses. He didn't create them. He knew that they existed. He just wrote down this helpful diagram for it. Oh yeah, his name was Rudolf Steiner. So Rudolf Steiner, he's a German. He created this table, and we have touch, uh, which is one of the 5 senses, life, movement, and balance. Those 3 senses are not. They are senses. They're scientifically balance, for that matter. Actually, even is a scientific sense. But as we go around the circle, we have smell and taste. Those are one of the 5 senses we usually talk about. Ego, concept, language are not the common 5 senses we know of, but they are senses. You could argue. I don't know. You can't really disprove them, though. I mean, you could, but language, for example, is a very, very powerful sense, which you can't really disprove that it's not a sense because I'm right now speaking to you. You understand what I'm saying, yet I'm just making weird sounds to a person who wouldn't understand English. Um, just as Elvish has other meanings, Arabic, Hebrew, all that. Hearing is the reception of language and sound, which is one of the 5 senses. Warmth and vision. So warmth has to do with auras around your body. There's many different ones, but vision is one of those 5 senses. Vision perceives light. All of these senses are either, well, not all of them. The 5 senses we learn in school are all either light stimulated or electrical stimulated. Everything you touch and feel is electrical impulses going into your body. Everything. I'm not going to reference any movies, but if you similarly in actually, I'm not going to reference the movie, but it's The Matrix. You could probably figure out what's happening there. Everything is light. Everything you see is light. That's how possibly if Jesus Christ was he was an actual person. That's a fact. But the truth of whether what he did was real or not, as you can see, I'm using the words truth and real, not interchangeably. It's a big difference. um, he could have maybe had powers to change things from material or duplicate things just because he had the conception of, okay, everything I see is just light and I can move it around. But get on to the more basic idea of this musing is most people do not know what this is. This is actually a clock. It is a astronomical clock. I believe found in Prague. Yes, there's a clock tower in Prague. And this clock, there's a big story behind it where the clockmaker got blinded by the king who didn't want him to replicate it and whatever. But this clock shows to this day, well, it was disabled and now someone else re-enabled it. But when it was showing these things, it showed precisely your time of day in 2 separate. So you can see the 1 through 12, the black numbers. Those ones are what we have today, what we use today. The outside numbers are Roman days and weeks and such. This is a very complicated clock. I myself, Vibes of Cosmos, which is another YouTube channel I will recommend and have in the description. He goes into this a lot. He can describe. It's beyond me. Anyway, in the middle ring, we have this little ring circling around, and it is the 12 signs of the zodiac. These 12 signs, are much more powerful than we think, and people usually believe that astronomy is the study of just the things out there. Astrology is the study of its influence upon us. So the astrology, um, people think it's a pseudo science, or like not quasi science, or just fake or whatever. It's not. It has influenced us a lot. So the truth of these things is that the reality is they exist. The truth is whether you believe in it or not, that they impact you. Okay. A couple things I would like to just mention, just giving it out there, is first of all, in time, you have 60 seconds in a minute. Why 60? Why not 100? 100 would make way more sense because it's a rounder number. Okay, just look at it. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and 24 hours in a day. You're like, oh, cool. There's nothing bad about that, or nothing, no numerological significance. False. 6 plus 0 equals 6. 60 seconds in a minute. 6 plus 0 equals 6. 60 minutes in an hour. And 2 plus 4 equals 6 hours in a day. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's a bad number. No, no, no. 666 is not a, it adds up to 9, which is the number of human consciousness in numerology. It is not necessarily a bad or good number. It's the negative side of things because we live in a dualistic world. Everything's dualistic. One last thing on this clock, kind of diverted away, is you can see the aura. So this clock, it only functions on a flat level surface of Earth because you can see the aura, which is Ser Silov, and then the Avoporia. So that orange sort of half ring is the time period. Your time is divided into four parts: the day, the night, and then there's these two slivers, which is the dawn and dusk, sunrise and sunset. Just another cool thing to point out. So we're gonna move on to, yes, my truth, and the truth, well, that I've perceived, is that the world is in no way spherical. It can't be. You are taught in school. On Earth, people are taught in school that the Earth is a globe. You're on an environment which you cannot explore further. You're just on this thing. And then they make all these movies and stuff, a ton of movies, about going out of it and into space. That's not necessarily true. Divergent is a very, very good YouTube channel. I will recommend him. He makes hilarious videos on this exact thing. This map was made by Vibes of Cosmos specifically. Furthermore, I did my own research on Google Maps, and yes, on the North Pole, it is covered by this blue sort of tape. You can't see it. In the center of the North Pole, there's this massive stripe. It clearly shows there's continents underneath it. The North Pole is not, there's something in the North Pole and Antarctica, which you cannot see. Here is what would that be covered? It's Hyperborea. Hyperborea is, according to Wikipedia, a mythical, legendary place which you cannot go to, which is not wrong. But yes, it at the moment, I believe it's real, but no one knows if it's real or not. Well, people do know if it's real or not, but it's their truths, because everything you perceive is light. That's what I'm trying to get to. Everything you perceive is light. Everything you touch and feel. Your brain reacts differently as if someone else perceived it. So everything which you're ever taught in school is just the truth of your teacher, slightly biased towards your teacher, the truth of the government trying to tell you something, the truth of everything. But the reality, there's only one reality. Philosophical, very deep discussion, which you can continue elsewhere. But one truth, one reality, many truths. Each of us have a truth, and those truths are puzzles. So in my truth, and in some, I believe the primary truth is that yes, this is how it looks like. This is where we live, or around at least. So our world looks like this. You can see the United States right there. There are more continents which we cannot go to. They're guarded. We cannot fly over them with a jetliner because those jets have certain pathways, which Vibes of Cosmos goes more into. But In the North Pole, there's this big black rock. In the previous video on the Honeybee project, I was talking about this. That is true North Pole. Now, everything we teach in school, I will connect to this. So this is the central pillar. This is what creates all of the things we're taught in school happen. So the four winds, there's four little continents. So the four winds, that's the Doppler effect that's the convection of these Earth columns, or as well as the different um, space and sun, like where the sun shines and the moon shines. That's the same thing. So this North Pole, the black sun, you can imagine as a big black light bulb in the center. Okay, that's Pulvs Arctivus. That is that. It could be a hole, it could be a black rock. I don't know what it is, but it's magnetic and it creates a negative reflection of the sun in light. Okay. This is in the center, which if our world is concave that way, I guess it would make sense kind of, but it's also flat. It can be both at the same time. It creates a projection in this dome of the sun. Now, many people who do like flat Earth videos or whatever, level Earth videos, this is a level Earth video, by the way, not a flat Earth video, because our Earth is not a flat disk in space. It is a plane of existence. In D&D, planes of existence are infinite both in all directions, down, up, side by side. But it's a massive dome, so it's reflecting into the sky, and it shines down. There's no ball. The sun is not a ball. Look at it. It's not a ball. Okay. Look at the moon. Is that a ball? No. You can only see one side of the moon. Doesn't that click in your brain? Maybe. Yeah. So indoctrination of kids of what their truth is. Make your own truth. This could be the truth. The truth very easily could be that yes, we live in something like this. It's a plane infinite in all directions, and then the sun is just a reflection in the sky, and you just see it. You feel the heat, all that stuff. It's not a ball. So is the moon. The moon is probably I think the worst anything could be described at school is that the moon has a dark side. No, that's not true. It's a literal map in the sky. Vibes of Cosmos goes more into it. That the moon is actually a projection. He can if he mirrors the moon, he can recreate all the continents on it, and some hidden ones too, such as Atlantis and Liberia, not the country in Africa, different Liberia, and a couple others. But here, this exact ideology has been used, and this is how it could look possibly. So we have Midgard, which is Earth. Now, if it's infinite, this is okay. This is Norris. I have to correct. And no, there's not floating in space as it's shown. It's infinite in all directions. Heaven is recast, and then it's polar, so that there's a bottom, basically hell, and then a heaven. And there's the continents of the giants, continents of the dwarves, all of these different things around, which we cannot get to. And then you see the Gormungander, which is a snake which eats its own tail, and that could be the ice wall, which actually holds in Earth, our continent. And then there's further continents, farther and farther, farther. Now, Isgard is above us. That's heaven. Again, it's a plane as well. And then there's a reflection down below that, which is Nidhogg. And then all this is encompassed in the great tree Yggdrasil. And then there's Nephilim. Oh, Nephilim. So Nephilim could be where the Nephilim angels came from. We don't know. And aliens do not come from space. Space does not exist in the sense that we're taught in Star Wars and Star Trek and all these movies. They come from different continents. It's that simple. So this print, very, very nicely illustrated. It was illustrated in 1888, not that long time ago. Yes, break the veil. Break it. God is not a guy with a beard holding our world this way. God is just laws. Laws which dictate you're standing on the ground, you're not floating up. All of this. Gravity is a theory. It has been forever and ever. Newton created the theory of gravity. We're taught in school as a law. It's not true. There's a law of density. Yes, if you're more dense, you will stay on the ground, which we are. If as soon as you are less dense, you will fly up. That's how simple it is. No gravity. Thank you for listening to me. Make your truth your own. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like if you like the video, and comment for anything else. I have gotten no comments so far, but I'm hoping for some, and I'll make those videos. Have a great day. None shall defy the crest of Erdan.